Hello and welcome to another episode of Intune.training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune. I can't do this anymore. The Steve and Adam and Ben show. Hey guys.
Hey Adam.
Hey Adam.
Holy guacamole.
You're doing really good with the intros, Adam. I don't think anyone else could do them better.
Yeah. Jeez. I'm so glad we have Ben here now. I can start taking over some of this junk. Whatever. Hey guys, this is really professional. Thank you guys for sticking around in 30 seconds into this video. Hopefully you've made it this far. So today we are going to talk about things that we care deeply about, like securing our devices some more. I think Steve's got some more cool demo things that he's very, very, very excited about and is begging to demonstrate today. So we're going to talk about more things in Microsoft Defender Security Center. Sorry, why were we talking about this stuff, Steve?
Because it gives us cool stuff.
But I mean,
it does.
I mean, look, all I want to do is put Windows on the machine and put some apps on the machine and like set the the desktop background and the home screen or the home page in the browser. Like,
and don't forget you set the start
someone
menu,
else,
and you need to set the pixels correctly for the screen. And
yeah, I'm spending all of my time on all that stuff. What are we doing with this? This is security's job. Why do we keep coming into this portal? You won't go to the endpoint portal, but you'll come to this one all the time.
Yep.
What are we doing here, Steve?
So the big one is the big pain point that a lot of people have complained to me about personally is, how do I get to C drive on my AAD joined computers?
Yeah, a lot of people are really finding the fact that they can't just go to C money, like they can't just remote onto that and like check for things. Is a huge. They see it as a disadvantage. And look, it is, because it's another point of management and reporting that we've basically lost because we now don't inherently trust the devices.
Which is good.
It is. It like in the long term, it is. But I guess that's the conversation, or that's the argument that it's difficult to win people over when you're sitting there trying to convince them that the best way to do this is to do it, not domain joined and have everything as zero trust. The first thing is, but how do I get to my machine? How do I check if a thing's installed? Stuff like that.
Yep.
But you're also telling me that now I have to. I mean, this is once again, every time I see this URL, this is costing me some money, right? This is taking me down that E5 route again.
Yeah, it is.
And I keep hearing that E5 is not entirely cheap. And so now I'm going to put all my machines in Intune and I'm going to lock them in there, and then I can't get to them, and the only way I can get to them is through the E5 paywall.
Yes. But it's no different.
I'm just asking the questions.
No, it's a fair conversation.
This is,
it is.
But let's take that step back, right? And it's no different than sitting and paying for a Carbon Black or a CloudStrike or a McAfee or any of those third-party products that traditionally.
I just use Windows Defender on my machines when I manage them in Config Manager, so. Yep. I'm not paying for those, and I can still get to the $C share. So why?
Sure, but then you've got to think about, okay, so that's what you do. You're not in the security team, right? At the company or the client. So you generally tend to find that while we from an end user compute perspective only use the basic tools that that for all intents and purpose free. There's other departments that are using other things, and they're paying for licenses and subscriptions and stuff like that. So if you sit down and you actually analyze exactly the costs of all of the different management subscriptions that all the departments are using, you could probably pull the argument down pretty easily that like just having it all in one tier with one extra bill is arguably better.
Yeah, and that's it, and that's that whole conversation of pulling it to the per user or per seat costing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you sit there and say, well, my Microsoft cost is this much per user per seat, and that covers my whole security stack, my email stack, my device management stack, my OS stack, Whereas if we go and look at a traditional shop, we'd have to go and pay for our OS stack, we'd have to pay for our Office stack, our device management stack, whether it's Config Manager, Intune, Altiris, whatever other platform, Manage Engine. And then on top of that, we'd add on
security,
McAfee or Semantic or Carbon Black or CloudStrike or any of those technologies. So it's as soon as you start sitting there and looking at that price per user and the features that you get, you're going to be in a good position, I think, with the Microsoft technology. But look, I'm Microsoft. I can't really say anything negative.
And for what it's worth, I'm playing the part of you, the viewer here. I mean,
it's a fair conversation.
I want to make sure that we're representing the audience. This is the questions that we're seeing that people are asking, that are saying, "Hey, why E5? Why is this?"
Sure.
Microsoft doing the licensing thing again, and it's a thing. I get what you're saying though, because it's like, okay, when you ultimately consolidate the costs, this is yet another selling point for ATP and for bumping up to the E5 for sure. It's one of many. I like what we've seen in this suite before. The security department might not buy into it, and so I guess so from my perspective, I look at it and say, so if we don't get to do ATP, I don't get to the $C share.
That's right.
It is a bummer, but it's just, it gives you, you need to be in that point where you can have the discussion and sort of, try and convince people that keeping everything in the same stack is beneficial for not just me, but also for you, the security team or the whatever team. Right.
It saves them having to bring in security consultants and having Koala scans and things like that, because it's constantly running day to day on the environment and things like that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cool. So
show us how you got here before you get here.
How we got here is we'll start off on our dashboard. So this is just the Security Center windows.com address. And then from here, we're going to select the machine list. We have a huge amount of devices here, as we can see. Yep. So I'm going to grab my test device and we're going to click into that device. You'll see that I'm the most frequent user. I've got exposure level, all of that cool stuff that we've already gone through previously. Yep. But we also have the ability to hit the three dots here. And let's just zoom out a little bit more. So we've got the three dots here, and we now have the initiate live response session. Actually, before we do that, what I'll quickly do is go down here. We're going to go to the settings and go to advanced features. You need to make sure that these two here are turned on. This one explicitly, but this one here is the one that allows you to load stuff up, and we'll talk about that once we go into the demo.
Okay, cool. I'm excited because I haven't seen this.
Yeah. And this is part of the whole thing, is we're trying to make sure that there's a little bit of excitement around this. So
and what you just changed there, that's essentially a tenant-wide change. Yes. That's not per group or anything like that.
That's correct. So we've just hit that live response button, and we now have a session on the device. So if I go here and I go ls, and we then go to our VM sitting over here, and let's turn on hidden items.
And the file names and extensions. Because come on, we're all grown-ups here.
So I don't turn that on anymore.
Oh my God, you have to.
Why? Are you kidding me?
It's one extra thing.
If you make a new file, how do you change the extension?
Yeah, no, you need file names and extensions.
It was right there in the, what do you?
No, because I wanted to protect
it. Was in the, it was in the view button.
Just do it. Just
there.
Be.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you.
Steve, man, sometimes I wonder, man.
What a relief. No, that's not great.
No, that's really not great. Let me zoom that out.
This is why he always has me drive the demos.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Does clear screen work? Does clear screen work?
Let's see. Yes.
Hey, cool. Okay, great.
And then what we're going to do is ls again. And we're going to bring up that Windows Explorer on this right-hand side. And the reason why we've got that there, you'll see in a second, is that we can see all of the files that exist there.
Yeah, cool.
So what we'll do quickly here, just as a proof of demo, is we're going to create a folder and we're going to call that demo. We have that there. And now we just go ls again. And we should see the demo folder appear in there. So it's a real-time UI, and there's that demo folder.
So can we try something, Steve?
Yep.
Can you let's just try and make a text file and just chuck it into that demo folder. So just do new item.
New item.
C dollar demo. Or sorry, C. Yep. Demo. Just text. I don't care. That's fine.
Do you think we're in PowerShell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's what we're testing, right?
And yeah, so we don't have the ability to run that. So let's do like a git dash command.
Hey, there's a little thing at the top that says upload file to library. So
there is. We should play around with that as well. Okay, but like get command doesn't even help. That's just interesting.
Nope.
Okay.
So this is like a command prompt.
Yes, I think it's a pseudo command prompt.
Yeah, it's a lockdown management shell. So what's interesting here is that obviously, okay, so the point of that demo was that new item doesn't exist, which means that quite a few of the commandlets that we would use to like actually write content to a device don't exist, which means from what I can tell, we kind of only have read access to a machine, so we can look at stuff, but we can't create stuff, which is really, really good. It sort of puts that layer of security on this thing, because if we got our security guys to look at this, they'd be like, oh, I've got remote access to a machine, that's not great. But if we're saying that all you can do is you can just look,
and if you're wanting to put a file on there, you have to put it through the library, right? When you go through the library, that's going to be scanned by the heuristics to make sure that there's no viruses in there. And then once it's up there, you can then use the put file and put it onto the device, or you can run it. But
so let's look at a couple of other those commands.
Oh, and look, there it is. You do run. Yeah, so basically you're having to pre-create what you're going to do on there, and then you run them as payloads from a secured library.
Yep.
I like it.
Let's have a look at is there anything in startup folders that could be interesting?
So I know there's nothing, but it's going to go and do a scan. But what we'll do, just for the demo...
Oh, yeah, let's put something in.
And...
Start menu and startup.
Nope, not start menu. It's going to be app data. Does anybody remember where it's hidden?
Go into the task manager.
Task manager.
It's task manager.
Task manager.
And then go to more details and startup.
Startup.
And then go there, right? Like click on one of those, and it'll tell you where that item is. Not that one particularly. Properties.
Open file.
Open file location. There you go.
It should still be in the start menu.
Yeah, go to open file location.
Let's go here.
I'm going to do this myself as well.
Okay, you do it yourself because you don't trust me.
I never said that.
I've heard you say it.
I've heard you say it.
I've heard myself say it as well.
So for what it's worth, that file is there because it's in the registry. That's not that's not a start menu startup item. So you should be able to go to your start menu and right click on your items in your start menu and go to open file location. If you don't get a there you go. And now you can go to startup right there.
We're going to go here. We're going to go folder. That's interesting. Let's do this because we're going to be nefarious and we're going to put something dodgy on the computer, but we need to create it first. Is we're going to go here and go.
Oh, hey, I found it. It's in program data.
Then we're going to copy that. And we're going to go to startup and we're going to paste that there. Continue. So now, if we go over here and we hit the up arrow, let's see what happens and see if it picks up anything in there. Because it should pick up that virus.ps1 file. And there you go.
Boom, there it is. So, I mean, this immediately, so obviously it's from the pane of security. It's in securitycenter.windows.com. And what we're doing here is inherently just like scanning a device that potentially has been reported as being sketchy. Something's happening that, you know, the user doesn't expect, which is really cool. I come from more of a reporting or a validation point of view where, you know, we've deployed an application or a configuration script, and we just need the ability to be able to go into the machine and just verify something quickly without having to interrupt the end user. So, like,
I'm curious if we do.
You know,
this.
Adam was saying that he didn't like, you know, security's boring, blah 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 blah. I tend to agree. But if we can use this just for management as well, then it, you know, there's a lot more value there as well for people that maybe don't want to get into the security side of things.
That's interesting.
What are you trying to do?
Well, you can only run the commands that are listed there.
Yeah, so there's getfile.
So getfile help.
Nope.
Just do help getfile.
Nope.
There we go.
So that's what I put in there. So what I'm guessing is it doesn't like that path. So what I might do
you know
is,
why? Because it's got a space.
Yeah, but I put quotes around it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Let me just copy it.
attention.
And we're going to put it to our magical good location of...
I'd put it in demo, but
I just put it in the root of C because
sure,
it's
put
VM.
virus.ps1 in the root of C.
It's interesting because they have the commands, but they're not very
No, they
detailed
don't make a lot
on
of sense.
well, I mean, they don't even really have a great list of options in the help docs out here either.
No.
Yeah. So probably important to mention it's V1, but this is where it gives you that quick look in the file directory and understand where that is.
Do get file with -auto on it. It has this command has a prerequisite command. You can use -auto command in conjunction with get file to automatically run the prerequisite command, which I think is probably the prerequisite is fileinfo, right?
There we go. Fileinfo command in progress.
Yep.
At least the verbosity of what it's doing is good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just looking at the commands that are listed there, it's obvious that they've said, hey, what are the top 20 or so like things that you need to do if you're on here this way doing this? What are the things you need to do to a machine? What types of stuff are you looking to accomplish? And they've consolidated all of this stuff down into these very simple commands. And I think that's really neat. I mean, it's like very quickly do this thing. All right, you need to check this, run these couple commands and go. And I think it's really neat.
And probably the big thing for me is the fact that you can sit there and see and connect to a device without having to interrupt the user.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big win for me. Like we were just talking before we started doing today's video that, you know, there was a scenario where I needed to jump on someone's machine just so that I could check some printer stuff like quickly. But quickly meant that I needed to interrupt them, and that's, you know, at the end of the day, I shouldn't have had to do that. And if we've got this functionality, then we don't need to.
Exactly. Cool.
So, Steve, try adding some content to your PowerShell file.
Okay.
Because it says empty files are not supported. So
it's kind of cool that it's got that level of like it can't just send a file down.
Yeah, I mean, I like that it's protected both ways, and I'm looking at this from a file propagation type worming scenario here, and I think like they built their tools to, you saved it in the root of C. You can't save it there.
Well, I can.
He's going to.
I have.
We're using best practice. This is all about security, right?
Yeah. Like totally all about security. Yeah.
And this is how we do it.
And you'll note that I'm going to make sure that it looks back on itself constantly to see how long it can run for.
Yeah. It's nice and recursive.
Yeah. Paste. So I don't want to touch stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so now we hit
let's try that again.
Up arrow, get file. But it does have data in there.
Well, it says empty. Yeah, oh, who knows? Well, now it's doing get file info again.
My guess is that because we did -auto, it didn't rerun file info.
Because it already knew about it. Yeah. Look at that. Woo! Fancy bits.
So what do we got? We got the hash details of it.
Yep.
Digital signature. That's great.
And it's in JSON format.
Everything's in JSON format. Come on.
And there you go.
Oh, look at that.
Great.
And show in folder. I don't think this.
And now your machine can be infected too.
Yeah. And
yeah, cool.
Ah, man, I finally scrolled as we already got to the answer, but there was I just linked in the chat there. This is the command syntax for a get file.
There we go. And yeah, so this is where we've got all of that information, entities, and what we have the ability, OSs that are supported.
Yep.
You need to make sure these KBs are installed. And then you've got that whole dashboard and a whole heap of extra stuff. So here's the commands and the advanced commands, and then you've got limitations associated. So yeah, I think that should wrap us up, eh? Guys, what do you reckon?
Nice and easy. Yeah, look, I think it's a really cool new management backend, or an administrative console. There's gonna be, I can see a bunch of different use cases for this, and I'm definitely going to be using it in our clients that have E5s.
Definitely.
And just as a side note, apparently you can only have one active live response session at a time, because I tried to get in while you were in there because it was going to totally screw with you, but it didn't work. So
yeah, right. Is that one session per machine?
Yep, I went to that machine and it said, sorry, there's already an active session on this.
I mean, you think about the use case of this. Someone's reported that their computer is, catching fire. It's doing some weird stuff. It's sending out emails that it shouldn't send out or whatever. And we've obviously done the back end stuff. We've checked all, Outlook and all of that. But we just want to go into the machine and quickly check. We shouldn't have multiple people going on there. We need,
at the same time.
Exactly. We need one person to be investigating the machine before we go, now let's just set it on fire and start fresh.
Yeah. And it should be to the point where if Ben or Adam has an issue, they should be doing a share screen to the other person to go, hey, can you show me how or what I'm doing wrong here, rather than sitting there and having multiple people in the same session.
Yeah. So before we go, I'm seeing this command that says remediate, and I really want to know what it does.
Hang on, I need to reconnect because I dropped the session. Yeah, I dropped the session.
Oh, and look, there's a more detailed, if you scroll to the bottom of that main help article, there is a live response command examples. There we go, at the very bottom there.
Where are we looking?
Just related article at the bottom.
Oh, there.
Yep.
It's also on the left-hand side, but whatever. And there's a remediate section.
So sassy. I love it. Remediate
No,
list.
I'm trying to provide information. That's it. I'm not being sassy. Okay, so according to the commands doc on the previous page, that there is, if you give it, depending on what you pass to it, it will take action on these things, which is really neat because basically it says we've identified a thing and we want to address it. And so if you need to kill a service, but you also want to kill the file that's running the service, well, that means in PowerShell you're going to have to do, get service, stop service, and then go find the path that it's using and go and delete it. So if you do remediate -process or -service, it stops, deletes, it
just gets rid of the entire chain.
Takes the whole thing.
It's actually the process ID, but yes. So what you'll see here is you put in the process ID and it'll go and remediate that whole chain.
It'll do file, process, service, registry, schedule task, and startup folder item. All of this.
That's just your entry point. So you can choose to enter the process at the process ID or at the file or at the service or whatever. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So depending on which thing you do, it will take the list of actions associated with that. Is what I'm saying.
Nice.
So if you do remediate file, it's only going to delete the file. If you do remediate process, it will stop the process and then delete the file. Same with service. For the
so it depends on where in the chain you sort of start.
Switch back over to the investigate tab there.
And tab doesn't work.
Probably
so now
for
we're
good
going.
reason.
Do auto. Oh, and you have to tell it one of those types.
There we go. So we're going to say file.
And you need to do -auto probably.
Oh, I've just thought of a fantastic use case for this. Imagine if one of your co-workers decided that they were very smart and they created a solution to map drives. And as part of that, they needed to create a scheduled task, and their scheduled task just was wrong, and it was causing pop-ups on the screen, and surprisingly, this is a made-up story. This hasn't actually happened. But just imagine, the scheduled task is wrong, and they forgot to put in hidden in the PowerShell process. And you just needed to quickly fix it before it sort of went out further. Obviously, the first thing you'd do is you'd go in and just stop that deployment. But then you could go to the machines that got them and just delete the scheduled task without interrupting the user, which is pretty cool.
Yep. So what we've done there, just so to close the loop, is when we hit remediate on the C virus, it's gone and said, oh, okay, obviously you think there's a problem with it, so I'm going to quarantine the file. And then it's no longer in C root virus.ps1. So it's gotten rid of the file.
Yeah, and so on that investigate entities tab in your browser.
Yes.
Scroll back up to the command section in the advanced commands, or down, wherever you were. There we go. So remediate. So this is what I was trying to describe. So depending on the type of item you specify, it has a list of actions it will automatically take for you.
Yeah, cool.
When you use remediate. It's pretty
nice. So, and I like this -auto, even though it's a little bit counterintuitive. It saves you from having to do those manual steps of whatever is required before you do that.
Dude, analyze. Look what this says. Analyze the entity with various incrimination engines to reach a verdict.
That's so good. Can you put that PowerShell script back on your machine, and can we analyze it?
Hang on. It's still on the machine under docs.
Desktop, yeah.
I just want to. I want it to turn around and say it's a one-line script. What?
What are you worried about? Try again. Oh no! Look at it. Read it.
Yeah.
Operation did not complete successfully because the file contains a virus or potentially unwanted software.
That is so cool.
So now you've Now you've added that particular hash of a file to a list somewhere. So if you go save it, change the hash on it, it'll probably let it come through.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
No, it removed it.
That is awesome. So it's followed the entire chain and gone.
So we found it one place and said we don't like this file, because I was going to ask this same question, which was how do I know where all the files are? What if I didn't get them all? Dude, that's amazing.
That is cool.
If the ATP people are watching this, we're impressed. We like it. Man. Pretty cool.
So maybe it's worth
sitting there saying, "Yeah, all of our tools have done this for years. What are you talking about?" But I think it's really neat.
So I reckon that might be worth the E5 license.
Yeah, make a new one, Steve. Make a new one.
Yeah, come on, make a new one. I want to see what.
We're not done. We're going round 2 now. We're getting jazzed about it. You just get back the right layer.
Put it in demo so that you don't need to do all this elevation business.
Yeah, silly man. See, if you didn't have the file extensions enabled, how would you call this .ps1 successfully, Stephen?
It wouldn't.
It would look like it was PS1, but it would still be .text.
Okay.
You know this. We all know this. The viewers at home know this, and you're losing credibility, Stephen.
Yeah, kids on the internet know that you're a fraud, man.
I'm tired of responding to comments. You're taking over comments this week.
We have comments.
All right, sweet.
All right. So what command was it? The
analyze. Yeah. So close. Put an E. Nope. Oh wait, it's gonna be. Is it American spelling?
Analyze with the Z. It is American spelling.
Yeah, sweet. Goddamn Yanks. You've never realized how frustrating it is until you I spent about 8 hours this week working on a cascading style sheet and having to write color. COLOR.
Nice. I'm gonna say America.
Yeah, very good.
No, that doesn't work. What do we need to write on there?
Required parameter ID is missing. We need to go back to that live response command example.
It's help analyze.
Help analyze, yeah.
Class file, and you pass it the file name. You have to put file in there.
Auto.
File. There you go.
Because we have to tell it the type, so it's file or process.
The ID is the actual whatever entity or path name.
Gotcha.
I read the screen just now. Malicious, clean, or suspicious. That's what I'm going to get.
Ooh, it's taking a bit of time. It's running it against a lot of heuristics.
I can hear the cogs working.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It is. I've never wanted something to complete so urgently.
So quickly?
Yes. With vim and vigor.
I'm losing interest now. Dang.
Yeah, so am I.
But there are incrimination engines at work.
Yes. It's doing stuff and it's finding information. So
go to your virtual machine. Have a look at the
processes.
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right. Task manager.
Performance, dude.
Yep, performance.
2 gig.
It's not too bad.
It's nothing. Ain't a thing.
No. So what we're using here, just for everybody to understand, is we're using. Yep.
Is that baked into Windows 10?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's not something that comes once you enroll the device or whatever. No. It's just part of.
Oh, look at that! Clean.
Sweet. Congratulations, your virus is not been detected yet.
Exactly.
So that's interesting. I'd like to. I'm gonna write a couple of examples that like encrypt files and then analyze them just to see. Like, I'm just curious as to sort of what
It needs to be a recursive folder encryption.
you reckon.
Yeah, I reckon once you do recursive folder, it will start picking it up and things like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
That's very cool. I think that's awesome. And obviously you can see there's the file hash, and that's obviously going to get followed around, and that's what caused the file to be deleted from multiple sources on the machine.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to dig around to see where this might appear, in the console or something, to see, is it does it log it somewhere? Does it add it to your list somehow if you were to drop this app on file on another machine?
Yeah, it would. So here's the remediated successfully, and it's a custom enterprise block. And then we can click onto that and see more information about it. We've got the SHA-1 hash of it. It's unsigned
file. Yep. The file
and then
name.
click into it.
And you can download it.
Yep. Open file, download.
Yep. So it's fully trackable. This is great. Hey, are we SecOps now?
I think so.
Yeah, we are.
I think so. Oh, look, we typed our password in plain. How did you know my password, Steve?
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then what you're seeing on the other screen, because awesome, is that we needed to put in that password for the zip file.
Right. Yep. So it's encrypted. That's cool.
And there it is there. And there's our virus.
Awesome.
And again, it's opening on the other screen because, nope, there we go.
Get file hash. There we go.
Very neat.
Nice one. Well, color me impressed. I think that's really cool. I wanna do more with this.
Yeah, I like this. If only I could afford it.
I mean, okay, so but you can understand why there's a cost there. Look at how powerful that thing is.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it costs money, but like, I would say the value of it is higher than the cost.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Now,
definitely.
Yeah, this is the deal where it's like, okay, look, I'm not a security guy. I don't do security on day in, day out. I don't know what other security tools or security platforms have to offer. And so we're giving a very one-sided view of a tool. And so let's at least recognize that as, okay, so if you actually do security, you may say, yeah, everything does this. This is normal tooling for security center type stuff. But maybe it's not. I mean, you got to think everybody's trying to keep up with each other. So surely, there's other offerings that do very, very similar things. The thing that I think is neat is, like you just showed, that the tool to connect in, whatever, Sense IR, is built into Windows. So there's no extra agents to install here. Nope. This is all native stuff that's just in Windows, and you're just turning bits on and leveraging the native stuff that's getting baked into the tool set. And I think that's really powerful because, I mean, come on, I think we've talked about it before. Like, I think I had dinner at EM+S with a bunch of guys one night, and we were comparing how many security agents each enterprise had on their workstations. And I want to say, Zach, you'll have to respond to this. I think Zach said he had like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah. I worked at a place that had I worked at a place that had 3 different DLP agents, and they were each knocking each other out. Like, it's just insane. So if we can get to the point where your security team comes to you and says, "Oh, we want to install this new agent," and you go, "We're already doing it. We've already got the solution built into Windows 10. We've already got it turned on, and we're already investigating it."
And we can report on it.
Exactly, but it's gonna suck a lot of the error out of that conversation immediately because.
So let's flip this one around a little bit. How many times have your security guys come in, they put a tool in, and they said, "Here, we need this. We've already bought it. We've watched the presentation. We like it. And we want to demo it." And the demo becomes a full.
Demos. There's no such thing as a demo, right? Demo is production.
POC to production in one thing. It's all. It is, and it was never like we're investigating. It was like we've already bought it, and we've there's no going back here. We've already made our decision by the time we demo it the first time. What's great about this is you can literally just turn this stuff on, and there's nothing else to do but just come and look. And so then you get to flip the conversation around and say, why don't you use the tools that are here and you show me in your tool set in the where it does something better.
We can't do this.
Yes. Yeah. Why should we use yours over this instead of the other way around? Because I think a lot of organizations are in the flip position where we already own all of the other security stack tools, and now we're having to justify why we need this and make the argument for it. And it's like the biggest argument for it is that
it's already there,
baked here. It's already baked in. It's ready to go right out of the box.
And I think you'll find that there's going to be a lot of places that are already paying for an E5 license, but their security teams are, for whatever reason, paying for other software. So if you can make the argument that we can actually save money by utilizing software we're already paying for but not using, you're gonna be a winner. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other one that I love to call out in here, just because we're sitting there and talking about the value of that E5 prop, is software inventory. It's the big complaint by a lot of people when you go to Intune. How do I know what software's out there? I can't inventory the devices. It's there.
It's good. And it saves you from having to use that pesky WMI command, right, Steve?
Yeah. Don't use Win32_products. Thank you, Jason. But here we can go and where is it? There's reports, and we can actually not reports. It's this one, software inventory. So threat and vulnerability management. If we had more devices in here, we would see more applications in that list.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's been a pretty good overview of what the additional features we get out of that E5 licensing around the live response stuff.
Considering how low Ben and I both set our bar going into this video, I think this came out a lot better than we thought. So well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Nice. Alrighty, guys. Well, this has been a great session. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
And all of our info and related bits and links and things will be in the box below. If not, when we release, a short time after that. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and all those things. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.